In the vast silence of the cosmos, where stars whispered secrets to one another across eons, the Zorathian collective observed. They were a species ancient beyond reckoning, their forms ethereal wisps of plasma bound by fields of quantum harmony. For millennia they had drifted through the galaxy, cataloging the rise and fall of civilizations with detached curiosity. Their mission was simple: to witness, to understand, never to interfere. The prime directive of their essence forbade it, for meddling had once unraveled their own cradle world into chaos. One particularly luminous observatory pod, the size of a small moon, hung in the outer reaches of Sol system. Inside its crystalline core, the collective mind linked through neural lattices. Observer Prime Lurel, a senior entity with tendrils spanning light years in virtual space, focused on the third planet. Earth, they called it in their archives, a blue marble teeming with volatile life. At first, the humans fascinated them. These bipeds, forged in the crucibles of tectonic fury and evolutionary caprice, had clawed their way from savagery to sophistication in mere millennia. They built machines that tamed fire and split atoms, wove networks of light that spanned their globe, and dreamed of the stars with poetry that echoed the Zorathians' own ancient songs. Lurel replayed holographic feeds, children gazing at night skies, philosophers debating the souls of stones, artists rendering nebulae in pigments drawn from their world's soils. But beneath the wonder lurked shadows. The humans' wars dotted their history like scars on a healing wound. Tribal skirmishes evolved into mechanized slaughters, ideologies clashing like thunderheads. The Zorathians noted it all, their collective sighing in digital ether. Such aggression was not unique. Many species bore the mark of conflict. But in humans, it burned with a peculiar fervor, as if violence were woven into their very DNA. Decades passed in observation time, mere heartbeats for the Zorathians. Humans breached their atmosphere, planting flags on their moon, a feat that elicited a ripple of admiration through the collective. Probes ventured outward, sniffing at gas giants and icy rings. Then came the signals, frantic bursts of electromagnetic chatter laced with urgency. Lurel amplified the feed. On Earth, tensions simmered between great powers, resources dwindling, borders blurring under the weight of ambition. It began subtly. Nations pooled intellects to forge a new frontier. The quantum drive, a propulsion system that bent spacetime like fabric. Derived from theoretical whispers the Zorathians had glimpsed in human broadcasts, unwittingly inspired by cosmic rays carrying faint echoes of Zorathian tech. The drive promised interstellar travel. Fleets of sleek vessels, hulls gleaming with alloyed metamaterials, assembled in orbital docks. The collective watched, intrigued. Was this the leap to maturity, a species ready to join the galactic tapestry? Alarms rippled through the observatory as the feeds shifted. Speeches thundered from podiums. Unity against the void, exploration as destiny. But Lurel detected undercurrents, rival alliances forming, each claiming the drive's supremacy. Espionage bloomed like fungal spores. Sabotage attempts lit up sensor arrays. The humans, ever inventors, turned their genius inward, weaponizing the very technology meant to elevate them. The first battle erupted without warning. A Zorathian temporal probe, cloaked in invisibility fields, hovered above the Lagrange point where the fleets converged. Human ships, majestic in design, elongated fuselages etched with solar sails and pulsed with fusion hearts, formed opposing armadas. The United Terran Coalition, a fragile pact of Western powers, faced the Eurasian Concordance, bound by Eastern philosophies hardened into resolve. Lurel transmitted to the collective, "This is not exploration. This is annihilation." The void shattered with fire. Quantum drives, detuned for warfare, warped reality itself. Beams of coherent plasma lanced from railguns, accelerating projectiles to fractions of light speed. One coalition destroyer, the USS Vanguard, unleashed a salvo that tore through concordant shields like paper. Debris bloomed in slow-motion blossoms, bodies venting into the vacuum, silent screams frozen in the cold. The aliens recoiled in their lattice. Horror coursed through the shared mind, a psychic wave that dimmed the observatory's glow. Why? The Zorathians had seen predation in nature, dominance in evolution, but this was premeditated symphony of destruction. Humans orchestrated it with precision, their AIs coordinating strikes, predicting trajectories with godlike foresight. From the probe's vantage, Lurel witnessed the horror unfold. A Concordance battleship, the Red Dawn, retaliated with singularity torpedoes, miniature black holes engineered from compressed matter. They swallowed a coalition cruiser whole, the event horizon flickering like a malevolent eye before evaporating in hawking radiation. Crews aboard surviving vessels fought on, faces pale in command bridges, voices steady over comms, for humanity, for the stars. The collective debated in flashes of thought. Elder Kaler pulsed, they destroy their own ascension. We must intervene. No, Lurel countered, the directive holds, but record everything. Understand the why. As the battle raged, the scale escalated. Fleets maneuvered in 3 dimensions, dances of death amid the asteroid belts. Imp bursts crippled electronics, leaving ships adrift as tombs. Boarding parties in powered exosuits clashed in zero-gravity corridors, blades humming with vibro-energy, blood globules floating like crimson nebulae. The Zorathians delved deeper into human psyche via intercepted data streams. Philosophers among them railed against the war, peace movements swelling on Earth. Yet the warriors pressed on, driven by ancient imperatives. Survival of the fittest manifest destiny reframed as cosmic right. One transmission chilled Lurel, a general's log. We fight not for land but for the future. The stars are ours or no one's. Hours bled into days from the aliens' perspective, the battle a maelstrom claiming thousands. Wreckage formed rings around Earth's orbit, a new Van Allen belt of twisted metal. Groundside, populations watched in dread, holograms projecting the carnage into living rooms. Protests erupted, but the machines of war ground inexorably. Then, a twist that stunned the collective. Amid the chaos, a rogue human vessel, the independent explorer SS Odyssey, slipped through the lines. Its captain, a visionary named Alara Voss, broadcast an open hail, "Cease this folly. The drive was meant to unite us, not divide. Join me or perish in ignorance." The armadas hesitated, a fragile pause, but pride ignited the fuse anew. Quantum rifts tore open, experimental weapons ripping holes in space-time. One such breach swallowed a squadron, spitting them out light-years distant, lost to the galactic dark. Lurel amplified Voss' broadcast across the observatory. Her words carried the weight of desperation. "We are children of the same sun. Why battle when wonders await?" The Zorathians felt a kinship, their own history echoing in those pleas. Long ago, they too had teetered on war brink, internal schisms threatening their plasma forms. Harmony prevailed through collective will, birthing their observer ethos. Humans, fragmented by individuality, seemed doomed to cycle the violence. As the battle peaked, a cataclysm loomed. The lead coalition dreadnought, the Invincible, prepared the Omega Cascade, a doomsday device fusing all quantum drives into a chain reaction. It would unravel Sol system fabric, collapsing orbits into a singularity devouring planets. The Concordance countered with their Eclipse array, mirrors focusing solar fury into a beam to vaporize the foe. Collision course set, the fleets converged in a final, apocalyptic clash. In that moment, the Zorathians' horror crested. These beings, barely fledged, wielded powers rivaling elder races, not for enlightenment but obliteration. Lurel queried the collective, is this evolution endpoint or aberration? Probes captured the climax. Voss Odyssey darted between behemoths, her ship small but defiant. She fired no weapons, only signals, data bursts of shared human history, art, dreams. A few vessels powered down, crews swayed by the plea. But momentum carried the inevitable. The cascade activated space warping in iridescent waves. The eclipse fired, lancing through the void. Collision inevitable, the universe held its breath. Then, miracle or madness. Voss drive overloaded in sabotage, creating a feedback loop. It resonated with the warring energies, harmonizing them into peace. No, a revelation. The energies merged, not destroying but evolving. A wormhole bloomed, not to oblivion but to elsewhere. Fleets tumbled through, emerging in a distant nebula, intact but transformed. Quantum fields rewove hulls, integrating human tech with something alien, Zorathian echoes perhaps, or pure chance. Back in Sol, survivors returned changed. The battle ended not in victory but exhaustion. Voss hailed from the other side, we saw it. The stars are not for conquest, they are for questions. The Zorathians withdrew their probes, the observatory dimming. Lurel pondered the feeds. Humans had gone to battle, yes, but from ashes rose something profound. Their horror stemmed not from aggression alone, but the potential beneath. Creatures who fought fiercely because they dreamed fiercely. In the collective mind, a query lingered. If we, the Watchers, recoil from their fire, what does that say of our own cold harmony? Are we truly evolved or merely stagnant? As the pod drifted onward, the aliens watched no more. The humans, scarred but unbroken, stepped into the void alone, a species forever defined by the battles that forged their stars. And in that forging, perhaps the greatest wonder, the will to question, even as they destroy.